Good morning. It's raining. It's not raining. It's raining. It's not raining. So, we're going to do our little yoga practice today. I'm so happy you got up to do this. So today's plan is to alternate between strengthening the upper and lower body, and of course the middle, and then stretching. So it kind of sounds like what we always do. We do try and address all parts of the body, including inside at our deepest selves. And so what I mean by that is that we'll be doing some deep stretching for our legs and strengthening. And then we're going to alternate with some upper body strength. And I don't know about you, but I know for me, the upper body is my weaker body part. Probably because I walk around more on my legs than I do on my hands, right? So we'll be doing some weight on our hands. And for those of you who have difficulty with wrists, remember it's a knuckles option, but position your thumbs forward rather than inward, or use handheld weights. Sometimes people hold weights in their hands. And we'll be doing some strengthening through the downward dog. So there's that. Sidearm balance today. And then when we're take it up asana, I haven't done this one in like forever, so let's see if I can even do it. Take it up asana is where you sit, put your hands on your side, bring your knees up or cross at your ankles and see if you can lift your tush off the ground. It's a question. It doesn't have to be done. So that'll be our playful part. Okay, so we're still getting people joining into the class. If you join late, it's basically upper body day. I have a towel and a block, or if you need 2 blocks over there, because we're gonna be working in lunges, and then probably on our knees for deep lunges in like a locust kind of pose. No, it's not locust. Anyway, the low lunge. And so if you have sensitivity to knees and you're on a hard surface, give yourself some padding on your knees. Okay, so there's that. Let's come to Namaste standing today. So let's bring a little energy into our practice by standing. I'll meet you on the mat. And my voice will probably get softer as I move away from the microphone. Okay, so here I am. Standing facing you. You can be on your mat, the long end or the short end, whatever suits your space. Ground the feet. Engage your legs. So remember that's drawing in or pushing out. Address Mula Bandha, pelvic floor energy. Draw that zipper motion in without squeezing the tush. Feel the spine lift and lengthen. That almost gives an opening to the heart and to the ribs. Relax through the neck and the shoulders. The fingers actively reach to the earth and the crown of the head toward the sky. And you can leave your eyes open and take in your surroundings. You can lower or close your eyes. This is a moment for you to just check in with yourself, see how things are feeling. How's your back? How's your knees? How's your shoulders? How's your big toes? Just see how the body is feeling. Recognize that. Let your knower guide you in your practice of things that you should or maybe ought not do. And now turn your attention to your breath. So generally in and out through the nose, but you could be congested, so yes, you can use your mouth. In fact, let's all let the air come out of the mouth. So when you take a breath in, bring it in through your nasal passages to the best that you can. And as you exhale, just kind of sigh. Now sometimes that sighing, as you continue to do that breath, may create a sense of softening in the body. So make sure your body isn't going, that you're staying strong. You're just letting the breath be a focus. Now breathe. Let your teeth just open a little bit and feel that you're humming. It's called the bumblebee breath. And you'll get a vibration in your teeth and in your jaw, and you'll think it's kind of funny, but go ahead and do it. Pause and come back to your breath, perhaps with a smile on your face. Let your fingers wiggle, let your eyes flutter open. Yeah, you can always expect a surprise with me. Turning the palms forward, letting the arms move forward of the body just to the height of your shoulder, turning the palms down and going back. So the weight of your arms carries a load into your core. Maybe you notice that as your arms go back. Do you feel your core tighten up? And then as your arms go forward, a little bit of work through your back. Because your body's trying not to fall over, and you put a little bit of weight in front and it wants to fall over, so it has to help you. So we bring some awareness to these simple moves that we do, seeing how our shoulders feel, bringing the arms a little higher than shoulders, and back. Kind of a swinging motion. Maintain your Tadasana stance, maintain that mountain pose. Now for those who have no issues with back or shoulders, I'm going to demonstrate that as the arms go up, you can lift the chest up. Now be careful what happens isn't this as you kind of drop into the low back. But if you need to, you can shift the hips forward to make that chest lift a little more gentle on your back. So see how it feels to you, or maybe don't do it at all. Because I'm not living in your body, I'm living in mine. Next time the arms go up, join the palms together and bring the hands down into your heart, cultivating our attitude of gratitude. And then let's rub the hands together. I'm not sure how your hands feel, if they're warm or they're cold, but we'll bring a little bit of energy to them. I'm going to take the energy from my hands and transfer it to my shoulders. So I find crossing my arms to make it a little easier to get my hands on my shoulders, but you can do same arm, same shoulder. And I'm going to lift and lower my elbows, which may seem a little weird to you. So I have one arm stacked over the other. Now if you're doing the arms here, you're just going to go like this. Yeah. So you could do this. I'm doing this. I'm going to change the cross, so the other hand's on top. Wait, I had that hand on top. There we go. Should feel different. And lift and lower. All the while I'm standing in Tadasana. Those of us with cranky backs can feel if we don't sustain the support for our backs. And then I'll let my elbows release and elbows circle around. So I want to make sure my shoulders are well prepared for my arm balances today. Come back and go the other direction. Let's open our feet a little wider. And as I'm moving the wrists now, my wrists are just going to do conducting the orchestra, and then maybe I'll let my hips swing a little bit from side to side. It's a cute move, don't you think? So my hips are just gently swinging. Maybe you notice a little bit of something, but nothing should hurt today. You may cross that, ooh, this is uncomfortable threshold, but that's okay. And then flexing the hands, so showing the palms, and then drawing the palms in, and still moving the hips. My arms are still, my shoulders are relaxed. How about the bandhas? She says that to herself. So opening my hands and closing my hands. Then as I let my hips do a hula, I'm going to touch finger to each finger to my thumb. I know this seems like not much. This is a really good skill. It's the basis of our grip. Let's go the other direction on the hips and the other direction on the hands. So if you started with the first finger to the thumb, Now begin with your pinky finger coming to your thumb. How's your brain feel about this? Is it okay? Do the best you can. Okay, pause, let the arms reach to the sides of your space. Now you may not have a mirror in front of you, so let me be your image. And if you were to do this, you would say, Karen, put your shoulders down. And go, okay, I will put my shoulders down. I will hold my bandhas in. I will address to pelvic floor energy. And then I'm gonna gently slide my ribs from side to side. Again, watch your backs. Those of us who have back issues, and you know who you are. The hips are still. This isn't me bending a knee and leaning out. I'm just bringing a little energy into my spine by activating those muscles. But you be you. Holding the arms up brings a little energy into those shoulders, because I don't know, how much does your arm weigh anyway? Are you breathing? So I'm going to hold center, let the left arm for you come down, let the right arm go up for you, and then slide the left hand down your side as you laterally open, taking the warmth of the back muscles and now giving a little lateral lean. So if that top arm could remain really, really straight and the arm close to your ear, that would be good. And my hand down below is lending support to my back, don't you know? As that top arm comes up, it takes the pressure off. I'll return back center. I'll lift the arms, reach out, drop the arm, lift the left arm, laterally lean over. And is it the same or different for you on this side? It's different for me. We're not symmetrical, we're more asymmetrical. Stiffen the top arm, bandhas and breath, support your back. No pain. Raise the top arm up. Put both thumbs at the small of the back. Press the pelvis forward. Draw the shoulders back. Lift your heart up. I have moon and sun on my chest. So lift the moon and the sun up. And then as I come forward, make sure your feet are going to turn out so the toes are slightly turned in. Hands on your thigh. The bookshelf pose. You remember the bookshelf pose is the legs are the wall, the arms are the bracket, the back is the shelf. So my wall wouldn't be straight if my hips were behind my feet. So I need to lean a little forward, activating the hamstrings, draw up through my belly, make my back neutral, so you could set a book on it. And then those elbows should be straight. And I know for some it's like this, so lengthen your spine to get the elbows straight and look outward. Now, depending on how your hamstrings feel, gently go over your knees a little lower. It is a hinging from the hip, not a rounding at the back. So you may be here and say, this is good enough. I grant you that. If you can go further or further, but I'm not hanging, I am being supported. Just see where you can go. Ooh, that's interesting. Now I put my hands on the floor. That doesn't mean you have to do this. I'm just being me. As we come back up, imagine a big pillow between the legs. Lift the heart, squeeze that pillow, rise up, and that gives support to the back. And as you come up, check in with your blood pressure, and we'll do a little hula. Oh. And then go the other way. So I'm going to come down on my hands and knees for this next one, and you can position yourself any way that you want. Remember, when you go down, don't use your hands. Go down any way that works for you. If you need to hold on to something, then you need to hold on to something. That's what you are. All right, palms or knuckles, hands under your shoulders. So I'm kind of warmed up. And I feel the weight distributed between my four limbs, my two arms, my two knees. Toes can be under or flat, whichever feels best for you. Shoulders down, so take your mountain pose and just flip it onto its belly like this. And then I'm going to shift my hips back and my chest forward. Play with this as your knees allow, and for some, going all the way back doesn't really work with the knees. So just go back where you can. For this one, it's mostly the going forward as we're working on those upper body. Here's the option if I'm on my knuckles with my thumbs forward. Then I'm going to pause in the center, so shoulders above the wrist. Lean on one of your arms, and it won't matter which one. Release the other arm and watch it as it presses out to the side, across your floor, up a wall, and toward the ceiling. Now there's going to be an urge to move back to your legs. I'm going to ask you to stay over that one arm. Then bring the high hand down the ceiling, down the wall, across the floor. And now we do the other side. Releasing the hand, going lateral out, up. Are you breathing? And the hand comes back down. One more time, just one breath as that first arm goes up. And exhale, the arm comes down. Same thing, other side. Inhale, the arm goes up. Exhale, the arm comes down. Now I'm going to be on my knees just for a moment and sit myself into a low lunge. And here's where a block, a book, or nothing could be helpful. So once you, if you can, come to your knees, you're going to put one foot forward of the knee, not under my knee, but put the foot forward of the knee. And then be careful as you transfer your weight forward, that back knee may roll over the patella. So you may need to like get up off it and then reset it. So you can have a block where there is no foot on the opposite side. If you don't need a block, you'll put your hands down. That back toe can be turned under so you can always move the foot back, or you can relax the toe. So the front knee now has come over the ankle, the belly is up, the shoulders are down, chest is lifted. And you're breathing into the front of whichever leg is behind you. Draw in through your belly as you gently take the tension off. Once you come up, switch to the other side. Again, foot past the knee, such that when you go forward to that knee, and watch out for the back, I didn't roll over my knee. I come to here, and I could be here. This might be the better option where I'm using a block under my opposite arm, or I may be able to come here. Oh. So just see where you notice this. For some people, it's hips. For some people, it's backs. For some people, it's knees. I don't know. Just take in you without judgment. Draw in your belly, and we're going to go back to that first side again. So as you get into that same position on the first side, I'm going to offer some options. So as you go forward, careful on your knee. You either come here, or you can scoot that front leg off to the side a little bit, so you have a little more space for both arms to come under your shoulders. Now that's one option, so I am on my wrist. But today, in addition to our upper body strengthening, we're also going to talk about options, so I can come to my elbows. In this instance, when I'm on my elbows, it's a deeper stretch. So I can be here, heavy hip, or I can be here. Not everybody can be here, or if you go there and then have to come out of it, that's okay. Draw in through your belly. If you're on your elbows, come back to your hands. Careful, back your hips up. Slow as she goes. Switch your legs. Mindfully moving forward. Watch your back knee. So you can stay in that first option. Maybe you were very tight and this is good enough. Or you can take the front foot and scoot it over so that you can now place both hands under their shoulders, or maybe drop to the elbows. Every day is a new day with yoga. Mindfully come back up. This time we're going to stand up. So if you have any props out in front, just scoot them off. Try not to use your hands as we stand up. Nice. We'll do a little for our feet. You can put your hands by your side, or you can put them on your hips, wherever they're most suitable. So I want you to focus on the feet. They're simply going to lift and lower a heel. This is where we fire up our core and play a little bit with our balance. Think of going over the pads of each one of your feet. Now you may have exceptional feet and no issues. That's wonderful. But if you have feet with issues, you have to work through those. And so working through the joints, just like you would with hands, I know there's arthritis, there's hammer toes, you name it, there's all those things that can happen in the feet. But try and keep them lubricated is what we're thinking. Now, one heel will come up and stay, and the other arm, the same arm as the leg, comes out. So I am here. Now I'm going to bring the other arm out and raise the other heel up so both knees are bent. Yes, this is the awkward pose. So I'm up on the balls of my feet, my arms are in front of me, the shoulders are down, the heels can be really, really high or just barely off the floor. You can go lower if your knees allow. I might suggest you just space out and look off the tips of your fingers. Check in with your breathing. If you fall out of it, don't worry, it happens. Just come back, we're waiting for you. 2 breaths. As you lower the heels and lower the arms, come to a star pose. So the feet widen and the arms reach, and voila, you are a star. Pulling the elbows back behind your back and bending your knees. Now the knees are happiest when they go over your ankles, and then breathe in going up. So if you favor a slight rotation out, if that makes you feel a little more comfortable with your knees, or your toes can be more forward. Do this on your own breath. Exhale when you're down. Inhale when you're up. Bandhas breath, that's what we're using. And I'll do one more, and I'm going to finish at the star pose. I'll finish with my arms up, and then I'll walk my feet back together and go back to my awkward pose. So pick up a heel in the same arm, pick up the other heel, the other arm. So this was on the higher side. That's a little easier for knees. This is a little bit lower, a little more for the quads, but it could aggravate knees. So let's hang out here for a bit. Two more breaths. Go ahead, lower your heels, and we'll do that little star thing again that pumps out our quads. Breathing out, breathing in. I'll do one more, finishing at the top of my star and walking my feet in. Okay, I'm going to go into some more arm balance things, and this would be the downward dog to a 3-legged dog to a bird dog from downward dog. What is that? So let's do the down dog first. Hands or knuckles on the mat. Feet step back and lift up your hips. Now where your feet are is kind of a variation. If you come to a down dog from a plank, that's a bit far for most people to feel comfortable in their hamstrings and backs. So you might want to walk those feet up a little. You can bend the knees. Now I'm going to give you some alternative hands. Usually they say you spread the fingers, but if there's some issues in your joint, you might try closing your thumb in and think of rooting down in the palm of the hand rather than letting the arch at the thumb come up. Right now you're thinking primarily of the arms. The arms are straight, the eyes are to your thighs, the tailbone is lifted. Doesn't matter if your knees are bent or straight. We're going to come down to child's pose, so as you gently lower onto your knees, maybe parting them, letting the hips come back or up if that's better for your knees. You can either make a pillow with your hands, you can let the arms extend, some people put them behind, and some people put their hands in prayer. You just do you. Okay, we're going to come back to down dog and work on our three-legged dog. And the reminder is for a three-legged dog, your arms are straight and your legs are straight. When the top leg is bent, that's called the scorpion. So we're doing three-legged dog. Come to your palms or knuckles. Turn your toes under, lift up your hips. Stand on one foot, and I can tell you the more you drop the heel of that standing foot, the easier it is for your shoulders. And then lift your other leg up. It can be parallel with the toe to the floor, or it can be turned out, whatever feels good for you. The arms are straight and the legs are straight. One more breath, we'll switch to the other side. So when your other foot comes down, ground it. Lift the other leg up. Remember the toe pointing to the floor is parallel, the toe turned out, which is what I favor. Stiffen your arms. Downward dog, child's pose. Now while you're in counter pose resting, I'm going to explain the next one. So it'll be like a three-legged dog, but we're going to try and raise the opposite arm off the floor. So we had our arms in front. So you've got one leg up behind you. You're going to just try and take the other hand off the floor. If all you did was come up onto the tips of your fingers, that would be a start. All right, you got to bring your kid out to play for this one. You have to be bold and you have to be willing to give it a try, or you can just hang out in child's pose. No judgment from me. Okay, come and place your hands mindfully. Turn the toes under, go to down dog. Pick up one of your legs. Once you've figured out which leg comes up, can you lift the arm of the opposite side? So right leg, left arm, or if it's left leg, right arm, you decide. Hold that arm and leg up. Take a couple of breaths. Back to down dog. Taste a little calm. Raise the other leg up. Raise the opposite arm. Squeeze your bum. Both hands down, both feet down, child's pose. Go into child's pose and digest, not judge the experience. Okay, we're gonna stand up. Try not to use your hands. And if you have something nearby to steady yourself, feel free to use it, otherwise don't. It's the standing pigeon pose. Holding here, holding here, holding here, stepping over to a wall. So once you get to where you feel you might need something, you'll open one leg, you'll lift that leg up above the standing knee. So I am in my letter number 4. My hips go back, my chest goes forward. Just like my pigeon pose. If you saw from this side, leg went out, foot come up, hips go back, hands come down, heart goes forward. Now it may be that you kind of step out of this, so that's why I say go get yourself some stability. So if you need to hold something, that be here a while. Check your breath. Okay, come back up, open your leg, and stand together. Now, it may be that you have to turn around, or you can just go to another place. Sometimes putting your back, so if the wall were here, I just put my back against the wall and then I kind of lean on it. It's a fair option. I'm just not using a wall. All right, other leg out. Bring the outside leg up above your standing knee. Hips go back, chest goes forward. Hands on. See, your hands are holding on. They don't know they're not holding on to something other than your leg. Everybody stand up and close the posture. So I'm thinking if we did it one more time on each side, it might feel better. Shall we? Let's. So go back to your first side. So if I were holding on to something, open the leg, cross the leg, lean back. I'm holding on to something here. Into some breath and we stand up. Better? What do you think? Let's come to the other side. Into some breath. Open up. Lift in place. Hips back. Chest forward. So there might be a tendency for your shoulders to close in. Try and let the heart lead forward. Find a bit of calm in what may not feel so calm. Standing up and being done. All right, feel free to move your hips around. So we're going down on our side. Want to lay sideways on your mat. Try not to use your hands. Doesn't matter which side. You might be mirroring me, so this could be your right arm. So we're going to strengthen the upper body. We're going to do it in a modified way, and then we'll do it on both sides modified. Then we'll come back and do it a little more zippy. And then we'll do it a third time, which would be the full expression of sidearm balance. So this is modified sidearm balance. So my knees are bent almost up to the front of my mat. So I know it's hard for you to see, my pants are black and my mat is brown and they kind of meld together. But my knees are bent forward, my shoulder not sinking. So this is strengthening. Drive the entire forearm into the mat. Put the other hand on your hip so that top shoulder, this is the basic alignment for sidearm balance, top shoulder over the bottom shoulder rather than forward. Then go ahead and reach the high arm up, and as you drive the forearm and elbow down, raise your hips up. So this is modified. My lever of my legs are short. Now traditionally we look up, but if that bothers your neck, you can look out. I would say you could even look down if you wanted. Bandhas and breath. Usually we can all do this one okay. Bring the high hand down and the hips come down. And then I'm just going to flip the other side so I can stay facing you. Feel free to turn your back to me. I would not be offended. All right, so I'm on my side with my knees bent forward. Do you see the elbow is under your shoulder? So I wouldn't want it out here. That would be straining, and this one wouldn't give me much support. Palm is down, facing the same direction as my body. Top shoulder over bottom shoulder. Bandhas, breath, reach up. When ready, elevate your hips. Elevate your spirit. So you're driving the forearm and the elbow into the mat. You could imagine I am holding your hips up. That would be helpful. As I exhale, high hand and hips come down. Let's come and face one another in Bandha Konasana. Just for a moment, bottom of the feet come together and hands are behind you. Where those feet are matters not to me. There are some people picky, like the feet have to be right up to the base of your torso. But that's not great for everybody. So if you need your knees a little further open, I'm an in-between person. So holding on to the ankles or the shins, I could be all rounded over, so I'm rocking on my sit bones and I'm getting nice and tall, and if I lean back, it helps pull down my levators. And maybe I'll let my head drop from side to side. Maybe I'll want to stay on one side a little longer. Isn't that a Jackson Browne song? Stay just a little bit longer. Actually, it goes back before Jackson, but now I'm going to bow my head, nod my chin, check in with my bandhas, and then lift up my heart and relax the shoulders. Okay, I'm going to go back to the first side. Now, if I show you the second option and you think, ooh, that's a bit much, then you bend the knees in and repeat what we did the first time. Otherwise, I'm back on my first side. I'm going to keep the forearm, strengthening the shoulder, but instead of my knees bent and forward, both legs will go out. So I'm showing you the bottom leg. I'm on the edge or outer edge of the bottom foot, and then my top foot comes on top. Place my top shoulder above my bottom shoulder, not in front. It's a little wobbly already. Reaching all the way up. Now, as you feel you can, elevate your hips. Now, that top foot is on top of the bottom foot. It is not on the floor, neither in front nor in back. If you feel this is too much, come down with your hips and move your knees forward, and then lift your hips again. One more breath. Okay, everybody, come down, and on your own terms, get to the other side. A little more vigorous, huh? So again, you have that option to bring the knees forward, get yourself set up, or take the bottom leg out, top foot, top arm, and when ready, everybody lift up your hips, Remember that top foot is not pushing on the floor, it's on the bottom leg. One more breath. Everybody come down and back to Bandha Konasana. Bottom of the feet together. Spine up nice and tall. This time, hinge yourself forward. So lean your body forward and let your head look to your feet. Some of you might put your head on your feet. You just go ahead and do that. What you should feel is a calm coming to balance the effort that you just put forth. Tighten through your belly, roll your spine up nice and tall. So we come to the third and final side arm balance. This one is the most traditional, but it's also the most challenging. I usually access it from a plank position, but I'm going to do it coming to the side. So remember, you have option 1, where the knees are forward and here. Option 2, where you're here. Option 3 would be coming onto your hand with your shoulder over. For this one, I take that bottom leg out, just like I did with the last version. And then I will push on this back leg behind me to elevate my hips and reach my top shoulder. Now I'm going to take that leg that's behind me and put it on top of the bottom foot, not the floor. Again, look up, look out, look down. Two breaths. When you come down, if you're like me, you can put that foot back and sit down, or you could just fall down. Be careful. All right, other side. So reminder, option 1, option 2, option 3. Two breaths. And come to Bandha Konasana. Well, I was shaking on that one. I should probably do more of those, I think. All right, so you have an option. We're in Bandha Konasana. Maybe you'd like to go back and do the neck again, or maybe you'd like to hinge forward and round over. So either one, just go ahead and do the counter pose. Okay, we're going to stand up. Try not to use your hands, so you can cross your legs and stand up or not. Okay. You doing well? Yeah. So, you can always drink water, but just sips of water would be good. Yes, this is not like the hot yoga where you're forbidden from having any water. But if you need to just, lubricate your mouth, a swish will do it. Okay, so this one has a crescent pose. So that's standing on the front knee with the front knee bent and the back leg with the heel up, not a warrior with the heel down. Now, most of us are way too shy when we do this. I'm really going to ask for the deepest and widest crescent pose that you can make. Then we'll do some dynamics. As I said, we're going to strengthen a little bit from the legs because we also strengthened our shoulders. Pause just for a minute while maybe you're getting that sip of water. You'll see my front leg is pointing forward, my back leg goes back, but then I really, really, really want to go back, and then I really want to deep down. So look how low I am and look how much space on my mat I'm taking. I can use my hands on my thigh as an option as I'm staying here. I can let the arms go forward, a little more challenge for my back. I can have the arms up. You're welcome to have the arms out. Wherever you want to be with your arms, It will make a difference to your back, so you can just support it or challenge it. When we're done, we'll do 5 times of touching the earth or the leg and coming back up. Touching the leg, coming up, or touching the earth and coming up. And when we do that one, the leg does not bend and straighten, it just stays. So it's a little more core. So that's the plan. If you're ready, pick a leg, any leg, put it to the front of the mat. Go ahead and put your hands on your hips so we get our alignment right. Hip distance apart, take one leg back, back, back. Look, I'm leaning forward. That makes the leg going back so much easier to manage. Go back as far as you can. Stay on the ball of the foot. Bring that front knee over the ankle. Lift up your chest, and if this is difficult, brace. Looking for more challenge, extend. Having the arms overhead or out to your side. Stay low. You want to feel that your body is perpendicular to the ground, that there's not a lean. So really engage the core. Cactus arms, sure, you could do cactus arms. Back leg straight. Now you're going to sustain this position and either touch your thigh or the floor and then come up. You can come to cactus or arms overhead. So we go down. Bring your hands to your front leg, lean forward, step the back leg up, slowly stand up. Be a mountain. I'm going to move to the other end. You don't have to move. How do you feel? So mountain pose is our counter pose for this. Kind of slow the heart rate down. Step away from judgment. Didn't matter how well you did, you efforted. So now the other leg in front will be the opposite that you did before. You'll lean forward, step back, keep stepping back, go as far back as you can while leaning forward will help. Then bend the front knee so it's over the ankle, not behind it. And then as you're able, come up. Feel free to use the hands here to support you, to challenge you, to balance you. And now. Squeeze your back leg straight. Keep the front knee bent. Tune into your breath. Okay, either using your thigh or the earth. We go down on the exhale. Up on the inhale. Once more, please. Bring your hands to your front leg. Lean forward. Engage your core. Do the best you can to step the back foot up. And return to Tadasana. Okay, so we're going to come down. We're going to go back and lay on our sides. Try not to use your hands. So we're going to lay on the side, all the way down with your knees bent, and you're going to use this arm as a bit of a pillow. Now, if you have a shoulder issue, you want to be behind the shoulder rather than up on top of it. So I'm going to be here, but you could be here. So you're not on top of the shoulder if your shoulder is having some issues. So top shoulder over bottom shoulder, otherwise top knee over bottom knee, top foot on the bottom foot. Now I have this fireplace behind me, so I'll have to be a little mindful. Float the top arm up. Now there's a couple places this arm can go. It can go straight back, or it can veer on the diagonal, so back but kind of up. We want to do the diagonal. So keeping that top leg, because it's going to want to shift back, anchored, bandhas, allow that top arm to fall diagonally back. So it's not over my head and it's not straight behind me. It's in that quadrant right in between the two. Now my elbow is straight and I feel a big pull into the anterior of my shoulder and a bit into my armpit as well. I'm letting the arms suspend. If this becomes too intense, you might want to bend the elbow to take some of the tension off. Otherwise, stay with your breath. Ooh, I went down further. I'm melting, I'm melting. Come back to your breath. So I'm going to bend that top arm so I don't have to bring it back straight, and then I'll roll back onto my side. Now I'm going to go to a twist from here. So this top leg, even if you're mirroring me, whatever leg is on top, it's going to come up and go on the floor in front of the bottom leg. So the foot on the top leg comes right in front of the knee that's down on the floor. So I had my knees together, I lifted up the top leg, I moved that foot forward, I used my hand to help place that foot, and I want the bottom of the foot on the floor. So that means my knee will be up and not down. Now this one's a little tricky, so you might want to listen and watch first. We have done it before. So what will happen is I will roll onto my back, and I will let that arm that was holding my knee up let go. Then I'll take the hand that was behind my head and go and hold that knee up. So the knee that's up and the foot that's on the floor is being held up by the opposite arm. I'm going to look at the arm that's behind me and see if I can move it back into that diagonal space. Now it's lower to the floor in this one because my shoulders are back on the mat. So you have one arm above you on that diagonal, your shoulders are down on the floor, and whichever arm is up behind you, that same leg is crossed over, being supported by the opposite arm. Did you get all that? Now be a little careful. That hand that's been holding the knee up is gently going to pull it down. It does not go to the floor. Just gently pull it down. Some of you will feel this in the hips, some of you around in the glutes. Stop putting pressure on the leg and let the knees fall together. Bend the arm that's up, roll back to your side, and let's go over to the other side. So for some of you, it could be rolling. I'm just going to go over to the other side. And we'll do that whole series. So we start with the anterior opening of the shoulder. So knees are bent. Make a pillow. You could use a real pillow if you didn't want to use your arm, but this is what I usually have, so I use it. So my knees are forward, knee on knee, foot on foot. Remember, they tend to move, so don't let them. Top arm is straight up, so it's not going to go behind, and it's not going to go over. It's going to go in that quadrant in between. So as I let that shoulder fall back with the weight of my arm, check the front knee, and breathe. Just stay and breathe. One more breath. Okay, bend that top elbow. I am here. Bend that top elbow and return onto your back. So we're going to take that leg that's on top and bring that foot up and place it at the top of your thigh. So here's my bottom leg, here's my top leg, here's my foot, my knee is up. Now I'm going to roll onto my back, take that arm up and put the other opposite arm against that knee so it doesn't come down. Now my arm again will go to the diagonal quadrant and most likely it will be on the floor. Be very careful and gentle with yourself. Good time to take some breaths. Now instead of the hand holding the knee up, you're going to bring your hand to the outside of your knee and gently let the knee come downward toward the floor. You may ascertain a feeling in your hip or maybe in your glutes, maybe in your back a little bit. A couple of deep breaths. As we retreat, I'm going to bend the elbow that's up, let the top leg lift. Use my hands to roll onto my back if that's appropriate. If you have to move and get back onto your mat, that's okay. So you're going to be on your back with your knees in, and then place the hands behind your head. Your head will never go back down to the floor. Where it is where it's going to stay. It can go up higher, but when it comes down, it just comes down to where it is now. It doesn't go back down to the floor. This is helpful for people who tend to head toward vertigo land. You don't want to go to vertigo land. So I would say look on the diagonal and keep your head up. So what will happen is the shoulders will lift and lower. And this whole time your elbows are not lagging behind. They're also not leading the way. They're in that nice neutral cradling of your head position. And your mantra is relax your head into your hands. Relax your head into your hands. And you breathe. Now we're going to add something to this that is optional. When you're lifting up towards your legs, you can also have your legs lift to your body. So I'm always slightly compressed. I'm using muscle, not momentum. So maybe tie into your breath, the exhale as you close. Now I'm going to add one more option. After I tuck in, one leg will go out. And then I'll tuck in again, and then the other leg will go out. Do you have to do that? No, you can keep both legs just coming in and releasing, or you can add that little extension of one leg out. Now what is happening with your low back? It is not arching and bending, it's trying to remain the same. Got 4 more. Oh my, oh my. So when we're done, we'll come to our bridge pose. The feet will come down, the head will come down. Feel free to put a towel or a pillow so you have good alignment in your neck, and then the hands down by your side. Buddhism breath, elevate the hips. If this is problematic for your back, put more weight in your hands, your forearms, and your shoulders to help mitigate the load. This is a load for the back. Ah, good big breath. So when we are up, our arms will be here. When our hips come down, the arms will raise, and maintaining that neutral spine, not saying my back has to be pressed down, but your abdominal wall does have to be engaged. Your arms will go back, and you may notice my arms didn't flop on the floor because I'm anchoring my shoulders. If I didn't anchor my shoulders, they could go to the floor, but once I anchor the shoulders, that's as far as they go. So when your hips are down, your arms are overhead, and when you exhale, you're going to press the arms down. So part of this is to solidify strength of shoulders, as well as working into the glutes, as well as working with your core, because you're not letting the back change. It's staying nice and tight the whole time. This is where you really want to get into the mindfulness of what you're doing, so you can do this well and appropriate. You might think exhale when the hips are rising and pushing. Inhale when you're returning. Nice strong abdominal wall. So, lots to be thinking about here. Holding the shoulders engaged. Coordination of up and down. Engaging through your glutes. I never relax my glutes when I touch the floor with my hips. It's only for a moment. I never completely relax down south. Kind of find your own little flow here. So let's leave the hips down, leave the arms down, and hug the knees into the chest. So that should feel pretty good. We're going to finish with a little opening for the back of the leg, and then we'll have our Shavasana. So since I'm going to use a towel, I roll to my side. Here's my handy dandy towel. Some of you may have a yoga mat. If you don't have either thing, I'll show you how not to have either thing. So if you know you need a long amount of the towel, hold at the corners of your little towel. Once you have whatever it is that you might be using, you put the towel or the strap into the foot, and it's an arm extender, so it's like you don't have to reach for your foot. You can make yourself comfortable, hang those shoulders down, and then hang on your towel. And if you had a yoga strap, you'd let your hands even come down further, because you don't need a strap. Then use the whatever length that you have, and you hang on your strap or towel. And if you say, but I don't have that, Karen, I go, okay. If you're very, very tight in your hamstrings, and we're looking at a straight knee here, probably you're gonna hold at the hamstring. And you may need to even elevate your head in order to get the arms to go further, because maybe you're very, very tight in your hamstrings. So you may hold here, you may hold here. And I understand, in order to get that leg closer, some people tip the pelvis up because they go, oh look, I have my leg so much closer, but they're not really activating a stretch in the hamstring. The pelvis stays neutral, so it doesn't tip up. It stays here, that little neutral spine. And my knee stays straight, so maybe you don't go very far. I don't know. Now, you see, I have my other leg bent, and that helps me get good back placement. If you wanted more, you could slide that leg out. Just make sure this doesn't change where your low back is smushed. So you can have the foot extended or the knee bent. So the question is, well, what if my legs start shaking? Well, usually it's a good idea to give it a little grace and let it go back some. Before you change, see if you can bring it just a wee bit closer and then let go. That extra little, extra little. All right, set up on the other side. Foot in the strap or the towel. Kind of arch your back, belly is in, shoulders are anchored, hang on your strap or your towel. Leg can be extended, don't need a towel, you could just hold here. Check your back, be with breath. Okay, one more little pull, and let it go. So I invite you to get yourself into a position for Shavasana. So Shavasana, you don't have to do anything physically. We've been doing a lot of physical stuff today. So now we have to work on quieting of the mind and giving the body a chance to just rest and hang out. Now there's a couple of ways you could do it. If you like the feet up the wall and you have a wall or the seat of a chair nearby, you could take your mat and go over and put your feet up on the wall or on the seat of a chair. If you have pillows, slipping them under your knees is very nice. Always reminds me of getting a massage, which is on my schedule for tomorrow. You could lay on your belly. There is nothing wrong with, if you're comfortable on your belly and you just want to lay in Shavasana here, you could even lay on your side. So there's a number of ways where you can get yourself comfortable. Also ascertain how warm is your space. Do you need to put the robe back on? I know it's still morning, but you can make yourself warm, and that would include some socks. If you have a ponytail, I know most of you don't, you can remove the ponytail. So now we do nothing. And for some of you, you're very good at this. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses, right? So some of us are very good with the upper body strength and some with the lower body strength, and some have great flexibility. And I think yoga teaches us to be accepting of where those strengths and understanding our weaknesses to help shore them up, but to do it without judgment. I mean, we all want to be the better version, but sometimes we just have to be accepting. Okay, I got a new hip, or I have a new knee, or, I have a bulging disc or something. And so you have to be accepting and be reasonable with yourself. We aren't the younger people that we were. So as we live in our bodies more and more, we just want them to function in a way that's helpful for us. So let's relax this body onto Mother Earth. Get yourself comfortable. And if it's bright where you are and you want to do you have an eye pillow? They're lovely. Put an eye pillow over your face or a towel over, or maybe you want to embrace the brightness of the day. And you're going to feel the weight of the head rest on the earth, consciously relaxing the head, letting go of the musculature in the neck that's required to hold the head up. And then just feel the energy drain from your body, the unnecessary energy drain from your body, should I say. So you feel it transition down your neck and around your shoulders. You let it leave your arms, through your fingers, letting the weight of the arms just feel heavy. Noticing the torso and everything that's going on in there. It's just amazing. The body is so amazing. But maybe we can let some of that energy, some of that tension, some of that stress, some of that whatever, just fall out from your spine or from your side or from your belly. Wherever its access point is for departure, just let it go. Hips and low back can be a point where we do hold tension. So maybe you can consciously imagine you're in a whirlpool or a hot tub, and it's just being massaged or warmth away, if that were a word. So now you have these two long limbs, your legs. And maybe just feel the weight of the legs go limp. feel heavy, and release any tension that you don't need anymore. Out your toes, let them go. Let them go. So you're left with a sense of nothingness, and this now can open up your mind. And so now we work to practice calming the mind. Maybe you'd like to go into the desert, up onto a mountain, out to the sea, by a river, in the woods. Maybe you need to focus on your breath. Wait in this quiet time until I ring the singing bowl. Let this time be yours. And so begin to deepen the breath. Maybe you wiggle your fingers, your toes, awaken yourself. Wasn't that nice? So stay as you are, roll to your side, and I have some thoughts today. Henry David Thoreau, who said, "None are so old as those who have outlived enthusiasm. Wrinkles, gray hair, aches and pains aren't the real indicators of old age. A loss of interest in life is. If we are engaged in life, we're still young no matter what our chronological age. And if we have no enthusiasm for life, we can be old at any age. We admire the 80-year-old who is learning to surf, the 60-year-old who is going back to school, the 70-year-olds who join the Peace Corps, and their willingness to try new things, to meet new each day with curiosity and excitement as an example for us all, whatever our age." So thought for us, I will approach this day with enthusiasm. I think there's a little truth in that. So with that said, come on up to a seated position. So we came with an open mind and with a ready body to do our practice today. We get that as a gift. It's your parting gift from your yoga practice. So as you sit nice and tall and stretch the arms and raise them toward the sky, whatever this day brings, we join the palm together and we say Namaste. So go enjoy the rest of your day with a bit of enthusiasm, she might say. Thank you for joining. Thank you for doing the practice. I'll see you in a week.